Today we're going to work through the Lochstead development out in Hatchville. This is a gated community. There's a lot of similarities to the dwellings that are within the development, so we'll review that. It's not a very large development, it's not very confusing, but it is something that we should be aware of, and it exists out there in the particular features of this neighborhood. The development itself is bounded by Boxbury Hill Road on the main entrance that you see here, and there's also a back entrance, Manor Lane, which is off of Hatchville Road. So, as I mentioned, this is the entrance, the main entrance, and this is the gate as we will enter. Most of the time it is up, but if it is down, it's a motion censored gate. Unlike Ballymead, which we'll need to put in a code, this gate here is motion censored, so as you approach it, it should just go up. And this building here is basically just a little storage shed, but this is the main entrance as we go in. Just a few pictures of some of the houses that are in there. They all have a lot of similarities in that they're all this color scheme, the light gray and the white accents. They're all ranches, all single-story ranch style houses. They are all wood frame. They are all single-family dwellings. They're all either in a T shape or an L shape. And each of the lots is, as you'll see here, it's kind of a woodsy lot, and the actual house a lot of times will be obstructed from the street by the trees and shrubs and so forth. So that's important. If we come up for a fire, you may not be able to grab a smoke showing report right out from the street level. And you won't also be able to, some of them have longer driveways, so if you do approach for a fire, you're going to have to make a decision when you're going to go down the driveway and try to position yourself in the driveway, or whether you're going to stay out on the road and do perhaps a water thief arrangement. But a lot of times you may want to, like in this case here, we may want to leave this driveway open for the ladder. So just something to keep in mind. Let's see. Whoop, that's not what I wanted to watch. Let's see where we're going next. See if I can get these in the right order. Sorry about that. Here's just another example of the type of buildings that we're dealing with out there. Just see here the gravel driveway, nice arrangement. It was very difficult for me to get pictures of the houses that are in there because they are set back on the lot and they are covered. A lot of them are covered by the trees, so it was a little difficult to grab some pictures. Also want to point out this building here is called the Manor House, and it's overlooking Coonamessett Pond. It's more of a, I don't really know what they use it for specifically, but it's there may be a small apartment onto this building, but I think basically it's a meeting place. It's a community type of hall for the neighborhood. It does seem to have a setup for a commercial type kitchen within it. I saw a rather large exhaust hood fan on one side of the building. But it's one of the older buildings on the development. This was once one of these old estates that existed in Falmouth. The land got sold off, it divided up in the property, and they continue to use the original estate house. And I couldn't get all four sides of this building here, but it does overlook Coonamessett Pond, and it's known as the Manor House. It's up a hill on a driveway, so it's a little bit difficult to get access to, but it's not tremendously difficult. I will just refer quick to what we're dealing with here in the development. Just some of the things that I picked up when I was going through there. We're talking about, I counted out about 72 single-family dwellings within that neighborhood. Equate that to about 100, 140, 150 residents living in the area. From the looks of it, I'm guessing quite a few of them are also summer houses. And the roads within the development are Lochstead Drive, which is that gated main entry off Boxbury Hill, Coonamessett Circle, which the majority of the houses are on. It's a loop road, which we will show in a minute. And Manor Lane, which is a non-gated back entrance off of Hatchville Road. And within the development, there is a tennis court and also some walking trails in the middle of Coonamessett Circle, which I mentioned before is a loop road. In the middle of that is kind of a woodsy area. That's some walking trails. It's all level topography in there, mostly flat lots. In front of that Manor Lane and in front of a lot of the houses that front on Coonamessett Pond, there is a little bit of an embankment or a drop off down to the pond. But overall, the whole development itself is relatively flat. There is a good level accessible launch site to Coonamessett Pond within this development. It's most of the time it's just got a chain across it that we can easily breach, and it may actually be a better launch site for boats than coming in to the Matsuza Conservation Area and using that launch site. It's a nice level. In Lochstead, it's pretty accessible. It's a nice little beach area. Get you right into there. This whole development has hydrants. Probably, I think, probably been built within the past 15, 20 years anyway. We'll just work also while we're here on this page here. We'll work on the response. It is in the Station 3, still district, and so we'll have 23 and 25 on the still, and the first alarm is 23, 25, 24, and 26. And as you see, we're still talking about some considerable distances from some of the stations. Station 3 to the middle of the Lochstead development is 3.3 miles. So roughly, I'd say about 7 minutes that we're looking to get out there. In Station 5, 4.7 miles. Probably 10 minutes, probably under that. But again, Station 5 has to go through a lot of the back roads in order to get there. So I don't think the 10-minute range is that far off. And Station 4, again, it's one of those situations where, you know, what are they going to go down Thomas Landers and Jaget in the back way, or they're going to go up the highway to 151 and in. And headquarters is showing about 6.5 miles, so you're talking about 12 plus minutes beyond that. And so it's just one of those places again for the Station 3 crews to remember that your second due engine is going to be a few minutes away from your first arrival, so you need to position yourself, and you need to also take those first actions that you know are going to be important for the event. I think I'll just come back up here to the we'll look at the Google map here for a minute and see where we're going to go. This is the overall view of the development itself. Probably many of you are familiar with it anyway, but it is a, as you can see, there is the circle to it. Up here is the entrance road that we were talking about, and then we go around in the loop, and then over here is Manor Lane. I'll just take a quick zoom in here. And just take a quick shot here. This is the entrance as we were talking about before. And over here you'll see the tennis court that I was mentioning, and the loop of it. And the house numbers run counterclockwise. So the house numbers on Lochstead Drive, coming in off of Boxbury, they run right in off of Boxbury. But once you get into the development, if you come up here and you take a right, the low numbers are around here, and then we come around up on this back side over here in the 120s. But as you can see, there's a lot of houses facing Coonamassa Pond, and 120. And here is the manor house right here that we were talking right here, and so there's the manor house there that we were talking about. And trying to get over to the okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Here's the launch site right over here. Okay, there's the launch site right there. Ah. Okay, all right, there's the launching site right in there. There's kind of a lower area in here. There's a little pathway, comes right down to the pond, and we get good accessible site right from there. And there we go. Just while we're here with this map here, I do want to just point out Coonamassa Pond, which is one of the largest ponds in the town of Falmouth. And half of it, as you can see on the right hand side, half of it is bordered by the Cape Cod Country Club, and down in the southern part here we have here we go. Here we go. We do have a few housing developments off here that come in off of Sandwich, and right in here we have that Adamancet development here that we've been to a few times for fires and little brush fires in there, but this is all just used to be an old estate complex, and now it's divided up into houses. And then over in here we have the Sousa Conservation Area that we've been out to recently on brush fires. And this is where I was talking about before, about the launch site within the Sousa Conservation Area. It's kind of tough to get down to with a boat because, as many of you know, the road down there is pretty narrow. Over here is the Quinamessic Farm, and I just will point out one more thing that is of interest. That this area up here is all town-owned conservation area, and there is a parking area right over here. This is Ranch Road up here, and as you come down here, this is a town-owned area here. There's actually a beach right here. That's a town beach. Does not have a lifeguard on it, but it does get quite a bit of use during the summertime. So there we go. We mentioned that. There's the development there. I just want to bring up briefly this map here, which is just showing once again the same development, showing the hydrants that are in there, showing the numbers going around, and most of the how the density here along the eastern side of the development is pretty significant there. And we'll bring up this map here, which just basically is, I'm just trying to show here that we do, the water main in there is an 8-inch main put in 1983. As far as I can read it, it's either 83 or 93. It looks like 83. But it's an 8-inch main. It is looped and connected, so we should have a pretty good flow through the hydrants there. And you down in here is where that launch ramp is. So that's a pretty accessible area there. And let me just take a quick look and make sure that we've covered what we want to cover. This whole area, Hatchville, is got a lot. Has got hydrants all over the place here. I just wanted to be able to show you that, but I guess we're not going to be able to do that. That this only section. No, we're not going to be able to do that. Okay. Just wanted to show a different part of Hatchville that didn't have the hydrants, but that's all right. We'll cover that another time. Let's see. Just while we're here, and we got just a couple of seconds here, I just want to point out a couple of other Hatchville. This area over here is a fairly new development in the past 5 years called Dawson Way. Just got a few houses on it. So this is the heart of Hatchville. It's been developed recently, in the past 20 years anyway. So that is about that. That's about all we want to cover on the Lochstead development. I don't believe we've been out there many times for medicals. I don't believe we've had a actual house fire out there. We've had a few small little brush fires out there during this past couple of months, and hopefully we'll keep it that way. All right, well, thank you for listening to this, and hopefully we all grab something from this presentation, and that will keep us safer and also help serve our neighbors a bit better. All right, thank you.